Hi everyone, welcome back to the studio. My name's Kaylee and I paint wet on wet landscape oil paintings. We're here for Tutorial Tuesday, tutorial number 22, and I'm going to show you step by step how I paint my oil paintings. This is going to be a complete process here, so check the description below for the paints if you want to follow along. Let's jump right into it. I've already prepped my 18 by 24 inch canvas with liquid white, so it's ready to go. It's a very thin and even coat. I'm going to pick up a 1-inch brush and go right into some yellow ochre. I thought today we would do kind of a misty scene. I actually tried to paint this in the studio yesterday and I was just having a rough day, so I'm trying again today. Today is actually Tuesday, so I hope you all will appreciate this second attempt. I'll show you some photos of what I was working on yesterday, and I did end up finishing the painting. It looks okay. I'm just not as psyched about it as I really want it to be. So anyway, we're here trying it again. I'm starting with just yellow ochre in the center and just working in some nice lovely gold colors into the sky. I just wanted to really be like a golden sundown. It's finally started to snow down in the valley. I live in Salt Lake, and it's been snowing just a touch up in the mountains, but now it's actually raining and snowing at my house, kind of just a combination. So I just thought we would pay tribute to the last bits of autumn. And I never tightened up my canvas, so I'm going to spray the back of it and get it a little tighter. I like to just give the back of the canvas a mist, and then I just kind of rub it either with a paper towel or my hand just to make sure that it's distributing the water evenly, but it just tightens up your canvas if you're struggling with a looser one. I have found that there is like a limit on that. If you have a really loose canvas, it can cause the corners to warp kind of interestingly, or if it's just a really low quality one. So give it a try and see if it works. It really helps me. See, there we go, we're already having an easier time. It's just snapping right back. Yesterday I was painting a little path over here, so we'll see if we get that. I was also considering putting in some water with some reflections, but we'll see. I am still going to kind of go a little bit off the beaten path today. I don't have any specific photo or place in mind. I just wanted to paint a pretty scene. So I'm going to add some Alizarin Crimson to this 1-inch brush, and I'm going to use just that dirty brush with the yellow ochre. In fact, I'm just going to grab a touch of that yellow ochre still. And we'll just add this crimson in. Nice and pretty and soft. And we'll come back in and blend this later. I'm just using a little X stroke. I want to get a little bit of haziness going, so I'm not getting really strict on my strokes, just trying to get a little bit of color in here, and then we're going to come back and blend it. I just want to get paint on the canvas here. A little bit more here. Now let's go right into our midnight black. Get a good bit of that on the brush. Still the same dirty brush. This is just midnight black, and it's mixing with some of the crimson that we already had on the brush. I'll just get that all up in this corner here. And let's get just a touch down here as well. Midnight Black. We're gonna do the same over here. I want it nice and dark though. Midnight Black first. And then let's grab just a touch of Phthalo Blue. Just want a touch of blue over here. And then we'll do the same down on this corner. I must not have blended my liquid white very well right here, but that's okay. Just work the paint into the canvas. And then we'll be able to blend that all out. Let's get just a touch of blue over here. Now, blending brush. Just starting in the center. And then once we get into the crimson, we want to keep that brush pointed towards the center with our light yellow in the bottom of the brush or the top. Basically just keeping those colors separate for now. We're just doing an X stroke to blend them. And then we'll be able to kind of pull them in and out together and soften those lines until they get to a nice soft point that you like. And I want to bring some of this crimson up here. Nice. Now we'll move up into this next area of where our crimson is meeting the midnight black. And I'm really wanting to make this nice and soft today, so I'm putting quite a lot of pressure with that X stroke. And then we'll just kind of bring these together, lightening up on the pressure. And we'll do the same thing over here. Just softening and allowing those colors to come together. And let's just bring it all together. And soften out the horizon line now. It's a little chilly in the studio and my hand is kind of cramping. But hopefully I will be able to get this painting done and edited by 5 o'clock for the live premiere. Fingers crossed. It's already going better than yesterday. I was just having one heck of a day. I'm glad that I still finished the painting. I pretty much always do, but there's been maybe one or two that I've just put aside and never brought back. That's okay too. I'm gonna take, let's see what we have. Had to grab another brush. A clean 1-inch brush. Let's just go right into the titanium white, straight, and we'll pick out an area where the sun is kind of right in the middle, hopefully, of that light area. And let's just work out from there this nice little bright spot. Maybe it's just a little hazy, and so it's just kind of splashing through. Let's just soften that a little. And we'll put a little right there. Just very, very, very lightly go over that, just barely. Okay, I'm gonna pick up my 1-inch brush and go right into this kind of bluish mixture. It was Midnight Black and Phthalo Blue. Just a touch of titanium white. This is a nice and soft color here. Let's leave that. Let's just soften the base. Just make it sort of disappear. Just a touch of titanium white. Let's do a touch of Alizarin Crimson to this color. Just kind of give it another color. Just a little bit more. And I still want it to be nice and soft, so we're just tapping into that. Let's do a little bit over here. Okay, tap this out. Let's get a script liner and just a real thin down. Let's get a little bit of this same color. We just barely want to notice it, you know, it's just barely there. Oop. Well, that is too much of a barely notice. You can't even see that. There we go. Just get a little liquid white into that. And now we'll just kind of make those disappear, the bottom of those. Let's just soften them all together. I want to put just a touch of highlight on those, liquid white. A touch of Alizarin Crimson. And we'll just tap out a few ideas over here. Maybe a little more. It was a little too crimson. A little lighter will be better. Soften those. Good. Okay, now let's move on to the next layer. We're just going to keep layering it just a few times, these colors, just making them a little bit darker as we move forward. And I'm still just using those three colors, Midnight Black, Alizarin Crimson, and Phthalo Blue. And we just mix those right on the brush. Just a touch more titanium white. And let's soften these out now. Now we already have that liquid white on the canvas. That's what we started with today. So we're always blending with that. And the more that you tap and the more pressure that you put, the more that you're going to blend with that liquid white. So if we just keep tapping on that, it's just going to keep getting softer and softer, and you can continue if you want to. I'm going to put in a few trees again. Maybe we got one here. Just giving those some wiggles. And then we'll just soften out the bottom of the brush strokes that we kind of put in. We just don't want them to be so obvious there. Let's add just a touch of highlight on these next trees. I just dipped into a touch of yellow ochre into our highlight. This is just the same brush I was using to highlight before. I have one for highlighting and one for shadows or for the darker areas. So I'm just wanting to get a little bit of this. We'll leave that. We don't want all of them. We'll just soften that out just a touch. Nice. I'm going to pick up the fan brush now and go right into the similar mixtures that we were using. A little bit of titanium white, Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, Midnight Black. And I want a darker color than what I have here. And just a touch of a different like tone. So we're going with just a touch more blue now. Double check that we have something still slightly different. And now let's just push up with the brush. And we're kind of scrubbing in some bushes back here. We're pushing up and then pulling back down. Kind of like a two-part because I want it to be a little softer. And then we'll just give it a little bit of shape here, kind of get an idea of what we want by just pulling out a couple of those, and they'll work as our shadows. Let's put in a few sticks and twigs up here. I'm just using that same mixture, and I'm just going to wiggle in a few branches that are kind of standing up above or through, because there's always going to be little sticks and twigs. They exist out in nature, so they're going to exist on this painting. Now I want to highlight this just a little bit. So we'll take our fan brush that we used to scrub in the paint, wipe it off really good, get a lot of that dark paint out. I'm going to go right into the yellow ochre. And liquid white. And we'll just tap on a few highlights. This time we're tapping with the brush with just the corner and pulling back. So we're allowing the highlight to just touch and pull off as much as we want, or as much as the brush wants. And we'll just let these ones kind of fade out a little bit there. I'm going to use my 2-inch brush and just on a couple of these, just kind of soften them. Okay. Pick up the knife and we'll go into, this is just Dyke Brown and dark sienna kind of mixed into a pile. We'll just pick up a touch of that and pick up some titanium white. Clean off the knife. Cut off a little roll of that. And we'll just pull out a little bit of dirt. And then right up here at the top, we'll just put a light, big bright spot like the sun is shining right down, right on top here. Like that. We'll take just a touch more dark now. And I'm just lining the edge of where we had some of these bushes up. And we're just pulling out some dirt. Nice and flat, kind of angled up into the bushes, you know, and then flattening out. So there's going to be a bunch of leaves piled up under there and they kind of just mound themselves up. I'm going to clean off that dark and we'll just use that lighter color that we were using before to add a little bit of pop. And I'm just feeling like we might have a little bit of water here. Let's scrape in just a couple little sticks and twigs. Still keeping it mostly pretty soft. We'll see details, but we don't want to put too many because then it kind of takes away from that illusion of that depth that we're trying to create. I'm just going to see if we can get a little bit of this pink to play in between some of this brown. And at the base of our bushes there, just kind of like a sparkling grass. We'll finish that off with the fan brush, just in a couple areas. And last, we will put in a waterline. Let's pick up a little bit of titanium white and just a touch of phthalo blue. More titanium white. And to that, we need to thin it. So we'll pick up some liquid white so that we get kind of a medium texture. Clean off the brush one more time. Cut off a little roll of paint. And let's just give it a go. And I'm just allowing the paint to come off the back of the knife, and I'm cutting in a little water line. Maybe the stream runs all the way up here. All right, I want to clean up some of this water just because we might end up using this more as water, which I wasn't sure yet. So I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow ochre. Let's grab a touch of titanium white. And just soften that in. Let's pick up a little crimson. Okay, I'm going to pick up my blending brush now and just really soften this out. Right over in this area, I want to add just kind of like a little meadow. So we're just going to use these same colors, Phthalo Blue, Alizarin Crimson, Midnight Black. And we're going to, with the 2-inch or 1-inch brush, just tap in a nice little meadow over here. And we'll stop there. Blending brush, I want to really soften this. All right, and to that we're going to highlight it. I'm going to use, let's see. I'm trying to decide which brush to use. I don't want to get this one too messed up because we already have a lot of other highlight colors, but we're going to do it. The 1-inch brush we're using to highlight. It should be nice and thinned down. We'll go right into the yellow ochre. A good bit of the yellow ochre. And just a touch of green. I just wanted to have a little bit, like a tiny flavor of green. And we'll push up to get that little roll of paint on the top of the brush. And we'll think about where the sun is and just add some little areas where the sun might be just barely, you know, touching on the top of these little grassy meadows out here. Maybe just a touch more Indian yellow to that. Touch of red maybe, that would be nice. Just a little flavor. Now we will very, very carefully just barely whisper and we're softening some of the under areas, not the top sharp bit that we put on. Just the under areas, kind of like when we're blending out clouds. We just really want to make this nice and soft back here. Again, we'll just do a little bit more here. Let's grab just a touch more green now. I want this hill to be just kind of sparkling and just a little green left in it. I'm pushing up with the brush now because I want to get a nice pop of grassy textures just in one go. We get all of the highlight on the top and some of these lower colors because we're mixing with a combination of colors. So if we go into the yellow, now we're working the yellow all the way up onto the bristles. Let's thin it just a touch, and then we'll get a darker color at the bottom, maybe a little brown there. So now we have kind of two colors here, and as we start using the bristles and bending them, we'll get some of that dark on the bottom and the light on the top, all in one. Okay, let's not get too carried away there. I want to soften these out. Let's just pull this together here with a touch of green. I got a touch of this lighter color here. I want to put just a touch more green there. Okay. Soften. Let's work on our shoreline over here. Just a bunch of our dark mixture, pure dark, and we're going to start, because this is all very shadowy side, and we're going to just put in our shoreline. We'll say something like this. Maybe it's just kind of like a sand shore, just really flat, you know? We'll bring these up together. We are going to take our blending brush and just lightly pull down go straight across. Okay, let's add some highlight to that. We might have a little bit of pop happening because of the sun. So we'll get some titanium white, yellow ochre, and our brown mixture. just a touch of bright red to that. A nice, fun, peachy color. Clean off the knife. And we'll get off a little roll of that paint. And we're just going to pull out some shore and some rocks and stuff. Let's use our brush and just soften these areas. Pull down our reflections again. And we're going to take the fan brush, go right into our yellow mixture, and then into our light green. Nice thin bright green mixture here, and we're just going to clean up the edges with a nice shiny grass. Just give it a little push. At the end of the brush, we're using just the corner of the brush now. Here you can lay it flat and push it up. The corner of the brush. And down here, let's put in a nice water line. We've got one all the way up here, and the water is kind of moving. And then it comes around this area. And wraps around here. It's something like that for now. Let's use just a touch of our dark brush. We'll go right into the Midnight Black and Alizarin Crimson, touch of blue. And I just want to add a little bit of dark back in here because we kind of lost some. So we'll start this new layer kind of here, go into some darks, and let's just bring this one on down. How about that? I didn't know I was going to do that either. Why not all the way across? I like that. And since we're at a river's edge, we might as well put in some grassy bushes. So give that a nice push with your brush. We drag it through the paint, flip it over, and push it up. Classic move with this brush. It works really well, loads a lot of paint in the brush, so you're going to want to use it all up, but gets us a nice little hill with some grasses over here that we can work with. So we'll just fill this all in. How about that? Let's grab a touch of green now. A little darker. And I think we'll probably have another bit of grass out here, maybe a little hill. If this hill's coming over here, and we've got our bushes just kind of up in here, something like that. We will need to highlight this hill out here first. Put a little green on him and make him pop. And then we cover it up. What do we know? Nice. There we got some nice little grasses. And then maybe we'll have a little more of our hill coming over here. But then we'll have a hill here, kind of going this way. Nice flat grasses coming off into the corner here. And then we'll probably have another bush or two, but let's put in a rock because that just seems proper to have a nice little boulder out here. Highlight that. And then we'll just kind of build around this and it'll just sink into the atmosphere. It'll just be a cute little rock sitting out here. And yes, I think rocks are cute and awesome. So, deal with it. Okie dokie. Now, let's see what we want to do. I'm kind of thinking, yes, this was my plan earlier and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to put in a nice big birch tree. We're going to have one here. And he needs to have a friend, maybe here. And just because of odds, that one just, oh, he's lived a rough life. That's good. Okay, and let's get these ones a little more filled in. Well, I'll say this is not a dense wooded forest, but maybe back there is a dense wooded forest and out here is just a less dense area. Someplace you can go and breathe and relax. Maybe we need that. Maybe we all need a little place to go and just relax, where the trees can just be there and be strong and support whatever it is. Cool. Let's build these up a little bit more. I'm going to use my script liner and my brush wash together to create a thin enough mixture for working on these trees here. We just want to soften these so we don't see too many of the funny brush strokes we just put in. Let's pick out one that's behind. I think maybe this one will be behind. So we'll put this one in first. And I was kind of thinking some like maybe orangey yellow leaves. Just seems so right. Maybe a couple little bits of red. And just a nice little finish to the scene, and we'll fill out these grasses before we do too much more. But I want to just put on some cool branches, get an idea of the way that these trees are kind of hanging out over here, you know, and fill in some of this space, but not cover up everything that we've done to create this kind of feeling in the painting. I'll put on a couple of branches on this guy. Now we want to add in a few branches. This one is going in front. And we can come back and correct these later where we need to. All right, let's highlight and kind of bring our attention back behind these trees, which for whatever reason we put these. Maybe you'll do this order a little bit better than I did, but let's see what we're gonna do here. I'm thinking we will go into some liquid white and yellow ochre, drag the brush right through that, pick up a little bright red, and we're going to turn the brush over and push out some bushes. Let's just tap out a couple up here. It's kind of just hiding. It's not going to be getting too much sunlight, so it's okay that we didn't do this. We'll just put them in to get some ideas of something back there. Soften out some of those harsh areas. And I'm going to go right into some sap green now and see if I can get a little bit of some grass here established. And let's just soften this. Okay, so now we have a little bit of an idea of what we're working with better now than we did. We'll pull these right in front, and then we're going to set them right down. This one's kind of more behind. This one's more in front. And you just have to decide. And we'll fix some of these lines. All right, now let's mix up some color for our aspen. They're going to be mostly a white bark, but we have to come up with the highlight side and shadow side. So this is some Van Dyke Brown and titanium white. Move it right over here. Kind of a nice gray mixture. And we're going to mix up a gray, another gray, with some more blue in it. Let's take some of this lavender color as well. Over on this one, I want to add just a touch of red. Okay, now I'll wipe off the brush. Let's start with the highlight side on this back tree, and we'll do this one first. And we're just going to wrap in like a rounded fashion this highlight color around the tree. Right? And it gives that nice idea. I'm going to make this a little darker. And some brown to that. Right on the back side. A little more brown. It just got a little too blue. Right. Now we're going to do one more hit on the front. So we're just going to take a nice gray mixture, add just a little hint of bright red, and just on a couple areas we're going to give it a little sparkle. Maybe there, maybe right up here. Okay, now we'll move on to the next one in front, this bigger one here. Okay, and shadow side. Just adding the shadow colors onto the back side, and now we're going to come back with our bright extra highlight color. And I want to tap this on the edge to make sure that I'm getting it in the areas that I want, and then we'll wrap it around. That's about where I want it all. I'm going to pick up just a touch more, and these two paints will just grab right onto each other and wrap that right around. We'll do a touch up here as well. Okay. Nice. Now I want to kind of clean up the bottoms of these. We'll just soften these. These areas will just kind of, when it dries, we'll soften up a little bit, but we'll leave that. Let's add in a few more branches where we need them. I think this probably could afford to be a little longer there. And I think we need to bring this one back out in front. And let's pop on a few leaves on here. I'm going to use the fan brush and just go right into the yellow ochre and bright red. And I'm going to pop on a few leaves. I always get carried away with this and put way too many on, so I'm just trying so carefully. By standing back as far as I am, I'm able to see the whole piece and try and get it to stay balanced. So give that a try if you struggle once you're really into it and you just see only the painting, where that focus spot where you're at, you know. So let's just get a few ideas of where we still have some leaves left. And I think we're going to need to have a few there, perhaps a couple right here. And we need to have a few leaves that are going over, you know, they're coming this way. So we want some of these leaves to come in front of these branches, or of the tree branches. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Stumps. It's a little more protected below. Sometimes there's a few more leaves down there, but we'll just leave that, and then we'll add some highlights to those in a little bit. Let's work on this grass down below. Yellow ochre. yellow ochre just on the tip of the brush. Push up into that and make sure we have it loaded. Get a good variety of colors going on. And right at the base of this, we're going to tap out some grasses and just set him right down into that grass. Maybe a touch of green. Just some leaves have fallen there. We're just going to complete this lower section for a minute. We might come back and add some more elements to it, but I just want to kind of close this off. That's a nice simple little scene there. We'll maybe add a rock right here. I don't know if I've said it already, but it is weathering out. Snowing, raining. I think it sounds kind of more like sleet right now because it's a little louder. But the weather has come and it is just, I guess it's time to say goodbye to summer officially, which I know I was reluctantly doing, but it's gone. Daylight savings has happened. It's dark super early. It's dark when we get up and it's dark when we go to bed. Lots of less sunshine, so we're painting a fun, bright scene to just remind us that, you know, winter isn't all that bad. I'm using just my highlight color over here. I'm just gonna keep rolling with this. We're gonna get this done so I can start editing this film for you. That is going to take me a few hours to complete, and then offloading it to my computer so that I can get it all uploaded and having all of the good info. So thank you all for being here with me today. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of the painting that I did yesterday. It is on the community page. You can go see a picture of it. I did finish the painting. I definitely wasn't, I knew I wasn't going to be making the same scene today. I was just sticking with the same colors and trying to do what I was actually trying to do yesterday was create a nice soft scene like this, but I totally just was in my head all day and I let it get to me. So anyway, I hope that you all can see that, you know, I'm just a real person over here also learning how to paint. And I just want to share with you the things that I've been learning and help you get past the stages that are troubling you. But honestly, the best way that you can do that is really to just complete the painting. Even if it's really, really hard and it's not going the way that you want it to, I urge you to get to the end of it, move past the stage that you're on, and try and make something of it. And that way you can really appreciate the entire process and know that you tried really hard to bring it back. Maybe you scrape off some, which I did yesterday. Maybe you cover a bunch up with something like a rock, which I also did yesterday. And then maybe you make this beautiful scene here and then cover all of that up with a big ugly tree. So, you know, it's gonna happen. You have to have some failures in order to know when those good successes are there. And you'll just feel that much more satisfied the next time that you make a painting and it does go well. So please try and just finish the piece that you're on, because this wet on wet process is no good to you if you're not completing it on that wet on wet time frame. It really doesn't work if you let it sit for a day the same as it does if you complete it in the same day. So try to finish it, just get through it, and then you can always try again tomorrow. And I just wanted to share that with you, that, you know, I'm not perfect. I generally want to record these tutorials on Monday so that I have time to edit them on Tuesday, but here I am on Tuesday recording a brand new video for you because I had trouble with my painting. So just paint, just try and keep trying, and don't give up on yourself, because I'm not going to give up on you, and I'm going to keep trying to post good videos for you, and you know, share the process with you so that you can see, like, okay, it didn't work, but I tried again and I worked with the same concept or the same mood and was able to make it happen. So, rant over. I just did the same thing on that tree as we did to these other ones. I did it in a slightly different order because I wanted to be able to do it a little bit more quickly. So now we have all of the bark on the tree. We're going to work on putting in some tree branches and just make this thing come to life. And I will have another one up here, maybe. Good size branch coming off. Ran out of brown. Just putting in some little sticks and twigs. Got kind of a big old branch here, I guess. I'll just kind of soften that in there. There we go. Get some highlight. Kind of soften that area there. And I want to really just to make a couple of these areas, some of these branches, to have some cute little, just give them a wiggle with your finger there. Let's get some liquid white. Because some of these branches are actually going to be white. So we can use that liquid white to kind of just put in a bunch more little ones to fill out the tree up here, and it just really brings it together. They're just small little details that you're not going to pick out right away. And we can do the same over here and put in some white branches that are just going to be popping. Maybe because the light is now hitting them. I know with the mic you can still hear some of the cars, but I hope it's not as bad because I did get a slightly different one and it seems to be, a little bit better. So I hope that the sound is good and tolerable for you all. Thank you so much for being here for Tutorial Tuesday. Gosh, I'm so nervous. I hope that I get this edited in time. I actually was trying not to take any breaks today so that we can get it done nice and quick. And by we, I mean me. But I do have the help of Tyson, who likes to get food ready for me, which is awesome because I don't think I would be able to like do all of it by myself. So, he helps and gets food and makes sure that I remember to eat, especially when I'm painting. I get kind of into it and then I won't always remember. So there's your reminders that remember to have a snack while you're painting. It'll go much better, I promise. I'm just throwing in some fun grasses back here. It's a very thin paint that I have on the brush, but it just kind of pulls out the paint that's already there most of the time. So just make sure that you're thinning it out, and then we'll just get a lot of these fun kind of details in the background. And it'll just look like a bunch of fun grasses, just really blowing around and having a good time. I want to add a few more little details. Let's just add one little bush. Just deserves to be right here. And I'm thinking another little bit right there. There. Now I'm going to take my 1-inch brush that I was using to highlight. I'm just going to clean that out a little bit. Pick up some liquid white and we'll go right into the Indian yellow. Tap into that. I want a lot of this beautiful gold color right on the brush, and we're going to create some nice little golden grasses. Let's get some bright red into that. Bright red. Crimson now. Just push up with the brush and just let it happen and leave that. We're going to soften out some of this. And we'll pick up the fan brush, and with the fan brush I want to put in just some leaves that have fallen. They're just all over and fun, beautiful colors, these leaves from up here, right? I just put them in and they're just all over the place. Green. Let's scrape in some little fix and okay, now almost to the end here, we're going to add some red leaves on this one. I need some more Indian yellow. Been using a lot of that today. Oh, I almost got some liquid white, but not yet. Just thick paint right now. Thick yellow ochre with a touch, actually quite a bit of bright red. Only half listened to me today. It's Tutorial Tuesday. Well, let me know in the comments below how you feel about Tutorial Tuesday. And if you're having a good day, I would love to hear about it. And if you're not having a good day, you know what? Let's share that too. And we can maybe help each other feel better. But today is definitely going better than yesterday. I'm really happy that I stayed a little bit more relaxed today and just brought this out. I'm just really happy of the way it's turning out. Try not to mess it up now, right? A little bit of crimson. I want to kind of darken this area back here. Just a touch there. And let's just do a little more. Excuse me. All right, now we are going to highlight this right into the liquid white, and we're going to get some yellow ochre. Beautiful, bright, golden. And we're going to just tap this out right on the edges, kind of a little bit on the top edges. Right over here. It's just sparkling through. Maybe we've got some shining just right on some of these edges. Okay, I think we need just a couple little, maybe a branch right here that just kind of squiggles around and has just a few little leaves hanging on. I'm going to just take one of my highlight brushes that I was using and just soften these just a touch. And now I want to bring out this bit here. Just make sure that we've got a nice bit of pop. Soften. Soften these ones. Okay. We'll do just a few more little bushes to kind of clean this up back here. Right out over here, I'm just going to add in a tiny little bit of a tree just to kind of clean up this corner. There. Now let's maybe give it a little signature. Liquid white. Let's go right into our bright red. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you next week and every week at 5 o'clock for Tutorial Tuesday, where we just sit down and go through step by step a wet on wet oil painting. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this painting. And also, if you have a few extra bits you want to give, I would love a little donation to my Venmo or PayPal. It just helps to pay for supplies, get more canvases and paints and brushes, and all of that good stuff. So Brian, thank you so much for your donation once again. I really appreciate you for helping me through that. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Smile and be happy, friends.